Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Key Stage 1 Year 2 English Grammar and Punctuation test, and it's going to be a walkthrough of this test. First of all, though, can I say thank you to all those people who have recently subscribed to the channel. We reached 1,000 subscribers, which was really great, and thank you for all your support. Of course, on this channel, we aim to offer you help and information about anything related to primary education. And today we're going to do a walkthrough of the grammar test children will sit in Year 2. So first some information about these tests. So the Year 2 SATs tests, schools do not have to do it in a particular week. I've said this in some of the other videos. They just have a month to do it. So the month of May is the Key Stage 1 test period. So schools can get the children in Year 2 to set the tests any time during that month. If you do want to ask your school when they're likely to do it, they may tell you, the teacher may give you an indication, but they don't have to let parents know when it will be within that month. But it will be in the month of May 2023. Okay, let's get started. So question 1A is the first couple of questions on the test. These are actually practice questions that the kids will do, and it's just to get them into the hang of doing these questions. So the teacher will probably take them through these first two questions. Tick the sentence below that is punctuated correctly. The ball rolled across the playground. The ball rolled across the playground. The ball rolled across the playground. And the ball rolled across the playground. So in this, they're looking for the sentence that begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, which seems to be this third one here. Here we have no full stop. Here we have no capital letter. And here we don't have either. So it will be this third option here. B, look at where the arrow is pointing. What a delicious cake we ate. What is the punctuation mark called? So here, punctuation mark is called an exclamation mark. Okay, and the children would need to write that in, exclamation mark. Okay, so that's the first two practice questions. And now we move on to the test itself. So question 1, which sentence can be completed with the word or? So children in Year 2 need to know the conjunctions, both the coordinating and subordinating, and this is a coordinating conjunction. So which sentence makes sense with this conjunction? We will go later or the sun comes out. Okay, so it doesn't sound like that one. Shall we go for a walk or stay at home? Could be that one, but we'll continue reading and get the children to look at them all. Can we go out or it stops raining? Doesn't quite make sense. That is a good idea. Or I don't have a coat. Neither does this one. So the conjunction or is actually one that gives us an option of doing two things. So shall we go for a walk or stay at home? Notice as well it says tick. So the children, they're not actually writing it in here. I just wrote it in so you could see, but they must actually tick the box to get that correct answer. Most of these questions are actually tick box questions. Which sentence is a command? So in Year 2, children need to know there are 4 types of sentence. There are statements, which are just facts. There are commands, which teachers often say to children are bossy sentences that include a bossy verb, where you're almost like an army general telling somebody to do something. There are exclamatory sentence, exclamation sentences, and there are questions. So these are the 4 types of sentences that children are introduced to. And interestingly enough, when they get into Year 6, they also are tested on this. So it is some really important knowledge that they must pick up as they're going through. So which sentence is a command? Which is that bossy sentence? So the weather is sunny today. I would say that was a statement. My cat plays in the sunshine. I would say that that's probably also a statement. Open the door for her. She likes to sit outside. Now, of these 3 or 4 sentences, which is the bossy sentence? Which one has the bossy verb? Okay, also known as an imperative verb. It's this one, open the door for her. So that's that bossy sentence. You can imagine someone telling you to do that. So that's how we know that it is the command. So we'll tick that one there. Okay, moving on. So number 3, add a suffix to make the word safe an adverb. So here we've got the word safe and we need to make it into an adverb. Okay, adverbs describe verbs usually, but they can also describe adjectives. But in year 2, we tell the children that they describe verbs, describe how you do something. So other thing they need to know is what a suffix is. Suffix are letters that we add to the ends of words to change their meaning. So what letters can we add to the word safe to change its meaning in this sentence? Josie and her mum crossed the road. How would they do that? So they would do that safely. So the 2 letters that they need to add to this are ly to make that safe word into an adverb, make it safely. So that would be a correct answer for that one. Circle one full stop that can be replaced with the word because. So here, this is checking a children's understanding again of conjunctions. Because is a subordinating conjunction. And which full stop could be taken out here and can we be replaced with the word because? So moving away from a simple sentence to a more complex sentence. I want to be a vet. Full stop. I like animals. Mr. Smith says it is hard work. Mum thinks that I will enjoy the job. So Mr. Smith says it is hard work because Mum thinks that I will enjoy the job. Those 2 sentences are not related to each other. In other words, this because here wouldn't quite work. It wouldn't make sense. So I couldn't take that full stop out. I like animals because Mr. Smith says it's hard work. Again, those 2 parts of the sentence are not related, so that wouldn't work. I want to be a vet because I like animals. So that does make sense. So what they would do, remember it says circle. So for a correct answer for this one, they have to circle that full stop. Okay, question number 5. What type of word are Vaz and Harry talking about below? Now, I really like this question because it draws on the fact that you'll have a lot of discussion in class about different things. And oracy is a big focus in schools at the moment where they want to check children's understanding by what they are saying and what they can say about their learning. So I like this question. So Vaz is saying it can be somebody's name, and Harry is saying it can be a name of a place. So what type of word, this is a word class question, can be somebody's name and be a name of a place? Well, we always teach the children that names are nouns. So a correct answer for that one would be a noun. Moving on. Question number 6. Add an exclamation mark or question mark to complete each sentence. So it can only be a exclamation mark or it can only be an exclamation mark. We can't be putting full stops in here because it's not asking us to do that. So football is great fun. Now that's not a question and it's going to be an exclamation mark, okay? It's just telling us that football is great fun. Somebody might say that in a kind of excited way. What a good game that was. What a good game that was. This is actually an example of exclamatory sentence because it begins with the word what and it ends with the word was. Now, we teach the children that exclamatory sentences, not normally start and end with these words, and therefore this one also should be an exclamation mark. Which team are you in? We have a question word here with the word which, and it's asking somebody a question, so it's going to be a question mark. Okay, so exclamation, exclamation, question mark for question 6. Question number 7. So again, this is assessing the children's understanding of suffixes. Suffixes being letters that we add to the end of a word to change a word's meaning. So the 2 suffixes that can be added to the word small to make 2 different words. Tick 2 of them. So tick 2 suffixes that would be added to the word small, and those words would still make sense. Small full. I don't think that one works. Smaller. Yep, I've heard of the word smaller. Okay, that one works. Smally. Don't think that one works. Small meant. No. And smallest. Yeah, you can be the smallest person in the class. Okay, and that person is smaller than me. So those 2 suffixes can be added to the word small. So the children should be ticking those 2. Question number 8. The underlined verb is in the wrong tense. So verb Okay, a little bit of a word class question here, but also a question about tense. Verbs being doing words, and then further up in Key Stage 2, they're also being verbs, being words as well. But in Year 2, they need to know that they're doing words. So there's a doing word in this sentence that is in the wrong tense. So after the children made their models, they paint them. So this word is in the wrong tense. How can we write it so it's now in the right tense? So it should be written in the past tense. After the children made their models, they painted them. So painted would be the correct answer. And also in the mark scheme, if the children haven't spelt it correctly, they also wouldn't get a mark. So they have to have ed. If they just add d on the end, that would be an incorrect answer. So they need to have ed. After the children made their models, they painted them. So painted there is the correct answer. Number 9, circle the 2 adjectives that are in the sentence below. Now, adjectives is the word class question. Adjectives are describing words. So which are the 2 describing words in this sentence below? So we've got the seed grows small roots. Now, adjectives usually describe nouns. So roots is a noun. So an adjective will come before the noun and describe the noun. So small is one of the adjectives. And is there another noun in this sentence? Well, we've got one here, stem, which is the name of part of a plant. So what is the adjective that describes that noun? It is the word strong. So if they circle the words small and strong, they would get that question correct. Question number 10. Write the words I will as one word using an apostrophe. So this is assessing the children's understanding of contracted spellings. Now, a contracted spelling is when you take out letters and you replace them for apostrophe. So do not, as an example, would become don't. And here you can see with that word, I've taken out the letter O, the second O here. N has gone to join the other O here. Okay, and we've put in this apostrophe. So there are several contracted spellings in Year 2 the children must know. Don't is just one of them, but another one is I will. So what is the contracted form of I will? And it is I'll. Okay, and in this instance, we have taken out the letters W and the I here and replaced it with an apostrophe. So for the correct answer, the children would need to write I'll. Write the words I will as one word using an apostrophe. I'll is the correct answer. Okay, circle the verb that is written in the past tense. Again, a tense question here. So as I taught you before, past tense verbs sometimes end in ed. They're what you call regular verbs. Okay, if they end in ed, they are regular verbs. But you can also have irregular verbs where we have to usually change the spelling, okay, which would be an irregular verb, okay. To give you an example, run, we don't say runned, we would change to ran, okay. So that's what an irregular verb is. So the children would need to know these 2 different types of verbs in the past tense. But let's see if in this question we can find the verb that is written in the past tense. Ben learnt that some whales can hold their breath for 2 hours. Now, I don't see any ed words in here. So first of all, where's the verb? Well, we've got hold is a verb, okay, and we've got learnt is a verb. Now, this one is written in the past tense. We wouldn't say learned, okay, Ben learned that some whales. Usually we would say learnt, but the children would need to circle that verb, okay, to get the question right. But just to give you an idea as parents or teachers, if teachers are watching this video, in Year 2, children need to know the regular and irregular verbs. Which sentence uses a comma correctly? Now, always tricky questions adding commas into sentences. In Year 2, the children would need to know that commas can be used in lists. Okay, so they need to be able to do that in their writing, but also identify it in a sentence. And that's what they're being asked to do here. So bring a pencil, a ruler, and, comma, a book to school. Would we usually use a comma and in this way? Don't think so. And is usually used instead of a comma, so I don't think it is this sentence. Bring a pencil, a ruler, and a book to school. Would we usually have a comma here before and there is a place where a comma's missing in this sentence to list. Bring, okay, that's definitely not correct. We wouldn't have a comma after the word bring like this. Okay, it's not a front adverbial. What about the final sentence? Bring a pencil, comma, a ruler, and a book to school. So here we've got a comma between pencil and ruler to list those two items. And instead of having a comma, we've added the last item with the word and. So here, it's this final sentence, which is the correct one. So to get this question correct, they would need to tick that final sentence. Question number 13. So again, another question about suffixes, letters that we add to the ends of words to change their meaning. And here we're asked to match the correct word, what we call a root word, to its suffix. Okay, so I would suggest, if you're a child, just testing them all out and seeing which ones sound and make the most sense. Enjoyness, enjoyous, it doesn't work. Bunches. Now I would say this is the trickiest of all of them. So if it doesn't quite make sense to begin with, they can always come back to it. But bunches, I have bunches of flowers is what would go here. Hopist, that doesn't work. Hopement, no. Hopeful, yeah. Slowest, yeah. Slowment, no. So slowest works. And finally, that leaves enjoy and enjoyment fits together nicely. So that was the correct root words to suffixes for that question. Okay, number 14. Add a full stop and a capital letter to the sentence below. So here, there's punctuation missing, and there should be a capital letter in there somewhere and a full stop in there somewhere as well. Now, we have a full stop at the end. So this is try a tricky question for the children, because they would always think, oh, in year 2, there should be a full stop at the end, but we've already got one. And there's already a capital letter here. So we're missing a capital letter and full stop somewhere else in this sentence. And it's because really here you have two main clauses, which means that there are two parts of this sentence that actually make sense on their own. So if we don't have a conjunction, we need to separate them into two sentences. It is very cloudy, full stop. It might rain later. So we should have a full stop here and a capital letter there. So they'd have to actually go back and change these, put the full stop in and make that a capital to get that correct. Okay, and that's because you've got a main clause. It is very cloudy. That makes sense on its own. It might rain later on today. That's a main clause. That makes sense on its own also. Okay, which word should have an apostrophe? Okay, so we've talked a little bit about apostrophes used for contracted spellings, but they're also used for possession. When you say that something belongs to somebody, so it was Sam's ball, okay, if the ball belonged to Sam, you would need an apostrophe before the S like this, okay? And that's exactly what they're looking for here. Can the children find where the apostrophe for possession should go? The boy's parents were checking his homework. So the parents belong to the boy. So here, okay, boys should have an apostrophe between Y and S. So that is where the apostrophe would go, and they would need to tick that box for the correct answer. Okay, question 16. Circle the verb in the sentence below. So verbs, as I've talked about already, are doing words, mainly doing words in year 2, but in year 6 they can be being words also. So which is the verb, which is the doing word in the sentence? Hiba took some pictures for her project. Okay, some pictures for and her project. Then none of those are doing words. Children might get confused and think pictures is a doing word because, you know, it's something you do, you take pictures, but pictures itself is not actually the verb. It's took here. So took is the verb that they should, circle in this question to get the answer correct. Okay, question 17. I quite like this question. It's a bit different, a bit out of the box, which is interesting because this robot here is made from cardboard boxes, and it's kind of an activity that children might do in school. You know, they may make a robot out of cardboard boxes, and then they may use that as a focal point for some oracy, some talking. For example, like this question is asking them to write a question. You could ask Ava about the robot. So notice that the question is to Ava and not to the robot itself, like, what is your name, robot? So you need to make sure that in this question, the children think of a question that you can ask to Ava, not the robot. Okay, you're asking Ava a question about her robot. It's a 2-mark question, which means that there are 2 places the children can score a mark. So firstly, they can score a mark by writing an appropriate question with a capital letter at the start. So, can the robot speak? Would be a good one. So that in itself would be a mark. The second mark would come from them adding the correct punctuation at the end, remembering to include their question mark. Now, if they write a question but forget the question mark, so let's say another question might be, what is the robot's name? Let's say they wrote that, but they didn't include the question mark. That would only be 1 mark. Okay, so you get 1 mark there. But if you include a question and a correct use of the question mark, you would get 2 marks. So that's just something for children to remember. It is the punctuation that gets them that 2nd mark. Okay. Right, question 18. Circle the 2 nouns in the sentence below. So another word class question. Nouns being names of things, names of people, places, names of objects. You can have different nouns as well. Proper nouns would be names of people. So where are the 2 names of things in this sentence? My favorite place. So place is a noun. So again, it's asking us to circle the nouns. To sit is under the old tree, and tree is going to be our 2nd noun. Okay, so they're the 2 nouns in this sentence, but you only get 1 mark for this question. So if children only circle 1 noun, they wouldn't get a mark for it. So just remember to point them out to that if it says 2, then you make sure you circle 2 in order to get that mark. Question 19, the final question of the test. Circle all the words that need a capital letter. Okay, so just like I said, these questions are kind of related because, yes, we need capital letters at the beginnings of sentences, but we also need capital letters for nouns and proper nouns. Okay, so names of people, so people's names, names of places, and also the names of days and months of the year and things like that. So where are the words that need capital letters? Well, the first one that would be easy to get would be my, because it's the start of the sentence and that M should be a capital. Another one would be the name Mary, because that's the name of a person and needs a capital. Okay, oh, sorry, you need to circle the whole word, not just the letter. And the final one, which is a bit more tricky, is the word Saturday, the name of the day. That would also need a capital letter as well. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the test. And the final thing I want to say is that although the test is done in year 2, not all schools actually get the children to sit this grammar test. They don't have to. They only have to get the children to sit the reading and maths papers and submit that to the government. They don't have to submit the data for the grammar test, but they often do get the children to do it as a sort of gap analysis task, so they can see which questions the children are able to do and which questions and things they need to maybe go back over with the children. Okay, thank you for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so for more videos on primary education. Once again, a huge thank you to everybody for your support. We reached 1,000 subscribers recently, which I was really pleased about. And yeah, give the video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content. All right, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.